Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. I'm speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas, and today I'm continuing my list of 100 favorite albums. In this episode, I'm doing number 65. Number 65 on my list is a album called A Hard Day's Night. I got the movie here. I got the DVD. I don't have the CD for it, but obviously a big fan of the Beatles, a big fan of A Hard Day's Night. It's their third studio album. Came out in 1964. It's a very 1964 was a very big year for the Beatles. Obviously, maybe the biggest year. Obviously, getting the number one hit in the U.S. something really big they wanted to do, which they got with "I Want to Hold Your Hand." And then they came into America February 9th, I believe, 1964. Played at the Ed Sullivan Theater. It was the biggest live music event of all time, biggest television event for Ed Sullivan and all that, and huge thing. Ed Sullivan always ranked high in one of the most important events in rock and roll history. That happened. Of course, they did a tour in the U.S. It was huge. Beatlemania was just rushing all over America, screaming girls at every concert, everywhere they went. And so, of course, the popularity was just I don't know if I would say at the peak, but it was about, it was the highest it's ever been. Incredibly higher than anybody probably has ever been in their career. And so they decided, or someone decided, that we should make a movie with the Beatles in it, and it'll sell, of course, because the Beatles could sell anything. They were so huge, culture-wise. And so they came up with a script idea, kind of mirroring the Beatles, of course, in the movie Hard Day's Night, which I just showed. Playing themselves, going to a concert, and kind of what it's like to be a Beatle. So of course they agreed to do this. Elvis made a lot of movies, so I think it maybe seemed natural to them to make a movie. That's what you do when you're a big star. They're not actors necessarily, though I think, did a pretty good job for non-actors. I mean, they do have the sense of humor and the outgoingness to do it. Anyway, so they're making this movie, and they say, okay, we need an album to go along with, basically a soundtrack to go along with the movie. And they didn't have a name for the movie at the time. And of course, famously, John said, what kind of songs do you want? Like, do you want a certain song to fit a certain part of the movie? Like, should it fit the plot of the movie? What kind of songs are you looking for? And they said, just Beatles songs, which I always thought was funny. It's like, we know whatever you write is going to be good, or you have a good track record right now, making really good music that everybody wants, and we just want you to make what you do what you do, and people come out and see it just to watch you new songs by the Beatles. Anyway, so it seemed like, to me, like it's somewhat of a rush. I don't know if it's a rush, but it was like, okay, we need to get an album out. We need to get songs out and record them in time for this movie to come out. And so, of course, this album is very significant in that it was the first Beatle album that they made. Only third album, but first one where it was all Beatle music. Of course, the first two albums that were in the UK. US, I don't know if Introducing Beatles were probably out at this time. I don't know if Meet the Beatles were out yet. Of course, those were similar to the Beatle albums in the UK. Please Please Me and With the Beatles. Those, of course, had like 6 cover songs on them, I believe. So it was almost half cover songs, half originals. And so this was the first time it was like, okay, we're going to see what it's like to have just original Beatle music, 13 original Beatle songs. And not only that, of course, they were all Lennon McCartney songs. George Harrison didn't contribute in writing a song for this one. And I'm guessing that's probably because they wanted to get music out fairly fast, probably, and so it was easier to just say, okay, Lennon McCartney, you just write or give us 13 songs, and we can put that in the movie, and that's it. So it's probably easier that way. Not only that, but John Lennon was responsible for 9 of the 13 tracks. So I mean, more than half, like 2/3 of the album is John Lennon songs, basically. Though the Lennon McCartney songs, John Lennon, I think, had more of a hand in writing and also singing the songs. So definitely, this is like Lennon really making himself one of the great songwriters of all time with this album, and making it a masterpiece album at this time. I think is what's so great about this album, what's so significant, what I love about it. So they made 13 songs. They didn't have a title song yet because they didn't know what to name it until Ringo famously came out and said, "It's been a hard days," and then looked up and it was nighttime. Didn't realize it was nighttime because he'd been working all day, and it said night. It's been a hard days night, and they loved that. When they heard that, I said, "Hard Days Night." That sounded like that's a really good title. Anyway, so they end up naming the movie A Hard Day's Night off of that, and then they told Lennon McCartney, "Okay, now we need a song called A Hard Day's Night." And so what I know is that, or what I remember is that Lennon, I think, pretty much wrote this whole song in like a day or something like that, on scratch paper or something, in the back of a car or something like that. It's like, okay, let's come up with a song, Hard Days. Anyway, he writes the song, comes up with the music, anyways, and it becomes one of their biggest hits up to that point. So pretty incredible for Lennon to do that, be able to write a song so quickly and the iconic song like this one, Hard Day's Night. Anyways, that's where we get this album. Of course, this is the UK version. The US version of the album had only the songs that were in the movie, and then some instrumentals by George Martin. I believe the first side is all songs from there's 6 or 7 songs that are in the movie, and then the other ones aren't in the movie, just other songs that they wrote for the album. Anyway, so of course it was huge, went number 1 in the UK, number 1 in the US. It was the first time, almost like a album came out in the UK and the US around the same time. Of course, they're different because, like I said, the US had instrumental versions, but both went number 1, were huge in both. I think the movie did really well, did really good in the box office. So, of course, the way the Beatles did it, they didn't put out singles in the UK, but they put out singles from this album in the US, and they were Hard Day's Night and Can't Buy Me Love. Pretty much the 2 most well-known songs from the album, I would say, and 2 biggest ones. Both went number 1 in the U.S., so they had 2 number 1 hits in the U.S. off of this album. It was ranked 307th on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums back in 2012. Considered one of the great albums. I mean, definitely, it's one of those albums you have to, especially like I said, for the significance of being only Beatle music the first time. It had real significance to it. It was 14 weeks at number 1 in the U.S. It was the longest reign at number 1 in the U.S. There was another big thing about this period, of course, is that as they're making this material, the songs that came out in the UK are now coming out in the U.S. So U.S. is now getting all these huge songs for the first time all at once. And so they had for the only time ever on the Billboard's Top 100, the top 5 songs were all Beatles songs. I mean, no other artist has ever done that. And of course, like I said, Hard Day's Night, Can't Buy Me Love. Like I said, you had I Want to Hold Your Hand and She Loves You were hit number 1 as soon as they came to the United States, I think. And so they're all a lot of songs in their top 5 because they all kind of came out at that time, and because Beatlemania was hitting America all at once, it seems like, even though it was already in Britain at that point for the last year or so. I love this album. I think what I love about this album when I was listening to it this time is I think the whole, compared to the first 2 albums, I think the old sound production sounds better. I think the guitars sound better, voices sound better. I think writing is getting better. I think you definitely see a step up. I always feel like with each album, it seems like they just, I don't know if they're just learning as they're going, and their quality is just up about each album. I would say this album step up from first 2 albums, and the album after this, Beatles for Sale. Of course, they went back to doing half covers, half originals. Then when you get to Help, I think that's a step up, even in all that. But yeah, so this definitely, this time period is definitely them getting a lot better. I think the harmonies are so good on this album. I think with If I Fell and I Should Have Known Better, I'll Be Back, the harmonies are just incredible. I think better than on like I said, the first 2 albums, for sure. I think the harmonies are getting better. They're getting better at all that, and yeah, the whole sound is just better. I don't know what it is. But yeah, Hard Day's Night is just enjoy album. I've listened to it so many times. Still listen to it recently. Just love it. That's why the Beatles are the greatest band in the world to me. And they even got to the really really good stuff yet. Anyway, so saying all that, I'll get to my top 3 favorite songs. It's hard to pick. So many good songs off of here. Um, Obviously, Hard Day's Night, Can't Be Me Love are decent songs. They didn't make my top 3, but they're decent songs. Tell Me Why is a song I really, really liked. That didn't quite make my top 3, but really love the harmonies on that song. As well as I'll Be Back, I said, way before all Schwarzenegger said I'll Be Back. We had the song I'll Be Back. And great harmonies on that song. And even I'm happy just to dance with you was the George Harrison song, which I never thought was that good. So I was listening again. I just thought, it is quite good. I actually quite enjoy the song. I thought George did a really good job with it, and the overall music was really good. Anyway, so yeah, it's an album full of great songs, I think. But number 3, I have I Should Have Known Better. I love the harmonica at the beginning. Love harmonica actually in any song that they sing. Like I would enjoy more harmonica. In fact, I thought they did a good job with it. But I love the harmonica. I love the pace of it. It's just a really good rock song, really fast pace. I think great vocals by John Lennon, and I love the moment. It's like one of the first songs of the movie. I think that's why it's such a soft part. I don't know what to say. Soft part of my heart for that song, because I remember being a kid watching the movie for the first time, and they're in the train, and this was the first song they sang, I think, after A Hard Day's Night, the opener. They all of a sudden sing this song, and I just remember being like, wow, this song is so good as a kid. So I just have so much nostalgia for that song. Number 2 is If I Fell. Just one of the best harmonies. John and Paul's voices sound so good. I mean, so good. I just love their voices together on this song. John really singing kind of low, and Paul singing the high part. Sounds so great. Yeah, I don't know what's more to say about that song, but just love listening to their voices together. Number 1 is And I Love Her, which is a Paul song, a real ballad, I guess, song with acoustic guitar mostly, with Paul and George playing, or maybe George playing most of the acoustic guitar parts. And I love the guitar. It sounds so great in the song. I love the solo, even the acoustic solo sounds great. But yeah, I love Paul's vocals. They're so amazing in a ballad. He's so good at these ballad type songs, of course, throughout his career. And there's some harmonies in there. But I'm just thinking the song right now as I'm talking about it, and just I love the overall sound of it. I heard him sing it live, in fact, back in 2017 when I saw a Paul McCartney concert, and he played this song, and man, it played great, and of course the crowd went crazy, and it sounds so good in concert, even with him playing it. It's become, one of my favorite Beatles songs over time. So yeah, so that's my top 3, and that's A Hard Day's Night, number 65 on my top 100 favorite albums list. And just please comment what do you think about Hard Day's Night. Where is it on your Beatle rankings or your album rankings? What you remember most about this album or the movie even. Love to hear the comments. Just so thank you for watching this and subscribing to my channel and supporting me. And I appreciate all the support. And thank you very much. Have a good day.